So I've just arrived at Fiddle Rock. I've been out for a little look. It's a bit of colour in the sky. Huge band of cloud in the horizon. You really do wonder what you've got to do to get a break. So we'll have a wander down. I absolutely love this coastline. It's full of photographic locations. It's really is, I believe, one of the best places in the world to photograph. I think it was National Geographic or something actually rated this coastline as one of the best in the world. So let's get going. Things are happening really fast, and I am actually struggling to do a piece to camera. I will say I have struggled with the electronic viewfinder a little bit when the light was down. I'll need to see how that goes. I'm just trying a couple of long exposures. I'm trying to keep them under 2 minutes, so I've actually had to put the ISO up to 400. That one was just a little bit underexposed. What an absolutely fantastic morning. I'd used the app Photo Pills. I'd worked out where the sun was going to be. I knew the side of Fiddle Rock was going to be illuminated. I knew it was going to be windy. I've actually got a new drone that I wanted to incorporate into the videos. But it's far too windy for that, so we can't have everything, but at least we're getting the light on the stack. Quite a lot of seagulls flying around. I'm just hoping the long exposure doesn't record them. I'll let this exposure complete, and then I'm just going to change my position. Cleaning the big stopper on my jeans, honestly. Bam, bam, boom. So we're back in the car. It's 10 to 8 in the morning. I think we'll move from here. It's quite residential. Go and find a nice spot on this lovely coastline and have a talk about my initial thoughts for the camera. So I've just parked. I've come down the coast. My little village called Cullen. It's famous for its Cullen skink soup. Also its viaduct. I don't know if you see it behind me. And there is a couple of sea stacks on the beach there that quite a lot of people make images of. Would you believe that it's actually started snowing? How we can go from that this morning at Fiddle Rock to snow within a matter of an hour or so is unbelievable, actually. But it hasn't put me off. Often when we're getting these changing conditions, when one weather front's meeting another weather front, that's when exciting things can happen. So I don't know if all is lost. I'm going to stay positive. I have actually been out the car. There was some dramatic lighting when I arrived, so out the car, kept the 24-70 f4 lens on the Z7. Kept the ISO quite low. I was just really wanting to try the image stabilization and see how it performed. I'll maybe share some of that images with you now. asking people for their portrait. It's quite an odd thing to ask, but that gentleman was very kind. And so this morning, initial thoughts. Now you've got to remember, I haven't seen the images. I've never been one for chimping, looking at the screen on the back. I really do prefer the viewfinder. Absolutely amazing viewfinder when there's quite a lot of light. It does deteriorate quite rapidly in low light conditions, and obviously the blue hour or before sunrise, it is quite dark conditions. And I did struggle a little bit. I struggle to focus. I'm not sure I completely understand focus peaking at all. You can maybe tell me in the comments what I'm doing wrong. I've tried on level 1, and it was very difficult pre-sunrise with a low contrast scene in front of me to actually get focus peaking to work. So I put it on to level 2, but then quite a lot of the scene lights up with focus peaking. So whilst I appreciate it's helping me with my depth of field, sort of, to actually find the critical point of focus with focus peaking, I'm not sure that was working for me. I'm quite open to... I've also had cameras with focus peaking before, but I've never used it. With the digital SLR, I've always stuck to just the viewfinder. Now, obviously, I have an electronic viewfinder, so focus peaking is maybe more important. And I don't know, in my opinion, and I've only used it once. I did go out one other time with the camera last week, and I had the same. I struggled with focus peaking. I struggled to find my critical plane of focus, which is, without stating the obvious, it's very important to me. So I'm not sure about that. If I'm doing something wrong, let me know in the comments. I would appreciate it. So that's my initial thought. Somewhere like just now, sun's up, still got some good lighting, a lot of light entering the lens. I have no doubt at all. The viewfinder is absolutely magnificent. It's truly stunning. You wouldn't even know it was a electronic viewfinder. Saying that, the image you see now, I don't know if I've showed it or not. There was a rope that was blowing in beside the life ring. There was a rope that was blowing in, with the movement of it blowing in and out of frame, and I was trying to time the shot to keep it out of frame. I was picking up on pixelation, so there was a slight delay that I was picking up on, but nothing that was a deal breaker. The other thing that I've struggled with the electronic viewfinder, and this is just from my observations this morning, people say that the advantage of an electronic viewfinder is you see what you're taking. And that might be true, it might not be true, I don't know. But I found it very difficult to see the darker areas in the screen. What I would really like is a little button on the back that I can push that just bangs that viewfinder or the LCD on the back of the camera up to its absolute brightest. The minute you let go of the button, it goes back to its regular, you see what you're taking. I was finding, and I'll put the image on the screen now, I could sort of see that these rocks weren't right. The separation I needed to... Now, you've got to remember, as I'm speaking, I haven't seen the image. I had to raise the camera or lower the camera, or I could see that the composition with that two rocks wasn't right. I had a big lump of black, but it was so dark in the viewfinder, I was struggling to work out what I actually had to do. So other than going through either in the menu, rattling up the viewfinder brightness, recomposing, pushing the button, putting it back to how it was, or adjusting my aperture or shutter to allow more light in, to brighten the viewfinder. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. But it was a bit of a failing for me. It was quite frustrating actually. I could see that it wasn't right, but couldn't see how to fix it because I just couldn't see the detail through the viewfinder as it stood. I hope that makes sense, and I actually hope when I get back to the, you'll know before me, as I get back to the computer and we start to process these images, it won't be as big of an issue as I'm thinking it is just now. So Nikon, if you're listening, button on the back, 100% brightness on the viewfinder for that sort of critical composition when lights maybe isn't it, it's when it's quite dark and we don't have a lot of light entering the lens. Let go, back to what it was.